if you know orchids don't need soil to flower. And if cutting the earth here and filling it there might just make an improvement. The landscaper said, you need to reconsider the shape of the ground you built. Speaking of what we build and how we build our lives and our days and all of that stuff, this poem is called In Praise of Rest. Also, shout out to the Nat Ministry and all Black women-led initiatives to really teach and grow what it means to be part of a revolution, be part of a resistance, be part of doing the work, right? In praise of rest. I want to remove, redact, take away, not be an abundant display of human possibility like folks around me in Washington, D.C. Praise lays, praise not busy, just boundaries. Praise the daily fruit of favoring our needs over the niceties of the work. Praise this being a part of the work and a gift, not wrapped with a bow, but a blanket. When I was growing up and in public school all the years, I already knew at a young age that I really liked poetry, but I wasn't maybe so self-directed in my knowledge or knowledge seeking. So I think by the time I graduated high school, the only two poets of color I had ever heard of were Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou, right? So this poem is after one of Langston Hughes's poems. Langston Hughes, the original busboy and poet,
Yes.
right? In Langston Hughes's poem, Harlem, he asked, what happens to a dream deferred, right? What happens when you have a dream and you defer it, and maybe keep deferring it? So, inspired by Mr. Hughes, I wrote a poem called Reverie Revealed, kind of thinking about what happens when you have a dream and you share it with people. And maybe sometimes we need to think about or have care in who we share things with, right? What happens to a reverie revealed? Does it bloom from first sprout or give way to others' doubts? Does it tap dance metronomic beats or lie prostrate in defeat? Maybe it writes the blues I hear you sing. Or does it sail the sky on a wing? I'll be back one more time, but let's give it up for Derrick, Weston.
Y'all hit me with the crossover. Okay, now it's oh, shoot. All right, just keep it light, Okay, I enjoy haiku. You know, we got some haiku. Smith's in the room. I see y'all there. And but I'm also looking around, because I've studied and read with some haiku masters. Shout out to North Carolina's own Lennard Moore, haiku master extraordinaire. Shout out to Joel Diaz Porter, DJ Renegade. Yeah. Who I will not show my haikus because he's going to break it down and see this is why it's not a haiku. You realize this is a sit read because you don't discuss nature. It has to be a moment in the present moment. So if you read Basho, you would understand, you know exactly. So I see Brian Gilmore, please don't send that to Renegade. He's going to see me one day. He's like, okay, I got you. So these are some Senryu that are tied to dance. There used to be this series, I'm looking at Alan King because, we used to run around to different open mics and poetry spots and music, and so there used to be this party called Afrobeat for Your Soul. We used to check that out. You remember that? Yeah, I know. Now we're the ones like, you remember we used to go, because, DC. Yeah. And then there was this place called Harambe's. You remember when Harambe's was next to Tamarindo? Okay, see, Yeah. So, shout out to the DJ Stylist, because he's down with a group called Soul Power, SOLPOWER, and they put out music. And so, these are some haiku about going to those parties. All right. Oh, Siri, excuse me. 1. Okay, no, I know. Okay. 1. Muffled bass quakes glass. Fela's sax squeals out the door. Afrobeat beckons. 2. And a disclaimer. It's before you, so I'm about to talk about somebody before you. You get the intro, all right. 2. Waist beads, sing samba, maraca hips, and angry highs, wrecking ball with the. 3. Sharp elbow to back, beer froths onto my shirt, hipsters clog the dance floor. If you're not gonna dance, get on the dance floor. Okay. 4. Red stripe to her lips, eyes tight, she coils, her cowries glistening. 5. Her eyes still catch mine, small smile, boyfriend turns searching, we look down, wait. 6. Offbeat goof hits table, record needles zig off grooves. Skip, skip, skip. Good night. There. All right. So, that's good. Let me find it. This next piece is, sometimes I come up with titles before I come up with poems. So I'm like, ooh, that's a good title. I'll be like, oh, that's a dope title. One day I'll write that poem. So a little story about my first book, Wisdom Teeth. Yeah. There is no poem, thank you, there is no poem in the book called Wisdom Teeth. I was like, that's a good title, man, we're gonna do something like that. So there's no mention of wisdom teeth anywhere in here. It's a metaphor, but that's about it. So these are called new title manuscripts that I haven't written yet. 1. Unk, the mid-40s poems. Yes. All right. 2. Graybeard Blues. All right. The new names. Unk, OG, Sir, Baba, Old Head. All right, that's one. All right. New titles. What I don't want. Title number 2, and my goddaughter's in the audience, so she'll like this one. What it's like to be a godfather. Hey. The next title, Getting Carded. Don't have it no more. All right. Let's see. Long Tooth. I like that one. Let's see. We got Stepdad Bod. That's the new one. That's the new title. Stepdad Bod. I call myself the man. Got that one. Red ink. Denying the blood. Slow bullet. To all the white boys I called friends who are now dead. Long story. And Pandemic, Panera, Personal Pan Pizza, Pachyderm, and other fantastic beasts. Plant Daddy. All right. The summer I named my children, or Black Men in Baby Name Books. You know. All right. And lastly, excuse my language, motherfucking pay. All right. And my last one. This is called 33. They say at this age I have two options: walk on water or be crucified. I laugh at this. Their mouths are Mona Lisa smiles. Their eyes are set, serious, still as the Dead Sea.
Hi everyone. How y'all doing? I want a big grand group selfie after this show, and you all know who we are, okay? So I'm just saying, don't run away when we're all done here, please. Before I do my last set of poems, I do just want to again thank Sammy and Ruben and Brandon and Lennard and Pepe and John Weston for starting American Poetry Museum a long time ago. You know, years ago I was a teaching artist for American Poetry Museum. Back then it was Laura L.P. Perez running the teaching artist program. Yeah, okay. I've been around. So I come to you with a short set of poems. I'm going to start with like a heavier, more serious one and then end with some lightness. Dance has come up today, right? And dance is a lot of things, and one of the things dance is culture, right? Dance, passing down traditions from generation to generation, is holding culture, growing culture, continuing culture. And so this poem references a few different dance forms. But this poem is an older poem. It was born from a project that paired young artists in Jabalia refugee camp in Palestine with poets in Washington, D.C. for us to be inspired by each other and each other's work, and for the poets in D.C. to write some poems around that. This poem also quotes the 1960s civil rights song, "We Shall Not Be Moved." And my background, it comes up a little bit here. My family immigrated from Sri Lanka, which is a little island country in the Indian Ocean. And my people are Elam Tamil people who have suffered there for centuries. This poem is called Footprints. We stomp footprints into dirt, merge our heels with our roots. Like trees planted by the water, we shall not be moved, except by the force of our own feet, delight in our own dances. We ask for what is ours to be returned to us. We remember every heart that has died broken. We celebrate that we are here, haunted, but healing. We shall not be moved, except by the force of our own feet, delight in our own dances. The Pepe in Jabalia, Palestine. Kumi in Jaffna, Sri Lanka. Go-Go in Washington, D.C. Palpitations underground shift tectonic plates. Some have tried with equal force to steal us from our place. This skin is the sun-stained color of soil my grandmother's grandmother walked on, survived on, thrived on. Now soldiers, families settle the land my people were built on. If we were trees planted by the water, would you hear us shout timber to warn you? Get out of the way. The ground beneath your feet is about to shake. Haiku. I also do not, I don't think I've ever written actual haiku that would be approved by the scholars of haiku. I just do these 3-line, 575 syllable poems. This is a short suite of haiku. It's just three. It's called A Love Story in 3 haiku. So like the different stages. 1. To be chased by you, unchased with you, I long for still. 2. Railroad tracks stand still, so trains can fulfill their fate. We search for our tracks. 3. Some songs are too short. In music and in romance, we forget the words. My last poem for you before Derrick Weston comes back to take the stage or not, we don't know. You know, everyone makes our choices. I'm not here to boss anyone around. This was a poem I wrote a very, very long time ago, just like you were like, before you, Kelly. It's funny because I feel like somebody else wrote this poem. But what's funny about this poem to me is that I wrote it a million years ago at Tryst coffee shop, restaurant in Adams Morgan, right? And at the time, my friend and I, Sarah Lawson, had a really good practice where like pretty much once a week we would meet up there and just sit and like have a drink or coffee or something and bring each other prompts and just write a little bit, and we both generated a lot of work that way. Why do I not still do these things? One doesn't know. One is learning lessons as one speaks on the mic. What was funny though is she had the idea for the prompt for this, except over the din of the coffee shop, I heard it wrong. So when we were done free writing, and she was like, do you want to share with each other? And I said, yeah. And she's like, okay, so my title, of course, is What is Happiness? And I was like, oh, I thought you said what is happening. So that's what my point is. What is happening? We're drinking blue booze at 4 on a Sunday afternoon. I'm craving one man, but telling myself I want another. The DC heat is imposing himself, pinning his breath and sweat to my skin. What is happening? Weekenders are turning around and coming back to town. A boy blows smoke on the sidewalk and smells of ashes. Men in buttoned-up shirts are idling nearby, and I wonder what their lives are made of. What is happening? The summer heat is a singer moaning for love lost, and I'm grateful that at least he knows how to make music out of it. What is happening? Sunlight is flooding down on us, and the best we can think to do is squint.
Right. One more time for Gowri. It's always an honor, you know, to read with you and to work with you. You know, we was slinging books, you know, hosting poetry venues, you know. So we were in the streets. I can always say, I went back and say, we were in the streets. You got in the streets. So shout out to Tristan because, you know, that's where me and I would say Alan King and Fred Joyner and Brother Yao and Tony Medina, we would meet up, but mostly it was the three, me, Al, and Fred, who would have what was called our Thursday ritual. We would, I mean, none of us really drank anyway, so we'd be like, all right, let's get the nachos going, let's get some sodas, we gonna write poems and sodas. So, yes, sodas, whatever. Yeah, I tell you, I was throwing back the Dr. Peppers back then, no more, you know, leave that alone. So this is called Hourglass Flow. And it's just for all the writers who've ever had to deal with when the words don't come. And it opens with a quote from M.F. Doom.
Yes.
To write all night long, the hourglass is still slow. Flow from hell born to free power like Wilco. MM Doom. Blame comfort. Blame a city of coffee houses and lounges. Blame ego and pride and all that clever shit. Blame self. Blame the crafty inner only child and his addiction to pleasing and head pats. Blame the voice that wants to sound like a poet but not sound like a poet wanting to sound like a poet. Blame distractions. But again, that brings it all back to self, doesn't it? Blame ritual. Blame fear of failure. Blame the voice in your head that doesn't like you. Blame competition. Blame loathing and book deal envy. Blame the workshop in your head. Blame expectations the size of a pig iron plow. Blame clock faces and hour hands. Blame stuck keys and humming hard drives. Blame that lost hour of slumber. Blame unreadable REM sleep scribble. Then, remember the ritual of trying and falling. The get up and dust off. The look to see if anyone was watching. The start over. The hopeful ending. Remember, each day is a draft. Remember possibility. Process. Remember peace. Remember place. Remember voice and patience. Remember to forgive yourself. Then you write.